said, oh, it's going to change your life. Anytime somebody tells you any of that,
run.
They full of shit anyway.
If you don't pay taxes, you don't have a job, and you don't have a vehicle, there's nothing that anybody can do to help you.
I always say I don't chase the bag. I pick up my luggage. You got to understand that from art, an economy was created. That's why money is being able to be made. That's why they care. That's my man. And it's always that. Yo, tap in with in that poem.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to Can't Talk, I'm Creating, a podcast for creatives by creatives. We're here today to have a pretty interesting conversation. I'm excited. I'll let everyone introduce themselves. Shay?
You know, man, here again, here with my
Chanel West Coast.
No, I'm not Chanel West Coast. MBG Shay, you know what it is, man.
Logan, Untitled Export CEO founder, as per usual. Today I'm joined by a good friend here, somebody that's going to be a good friend, and I'll let you do your own introduction.
What's going on? This is Mike Rodriguez, CEO, co-founder of the Pivot Co., also co-founder of the Listener Podcast Network. We can have a conversation about that too.
Yes.
And a diehard Yankee fan.
Die hard.
Umbilical cord has pinstripes.
I haven't heard that one before. That's a good one. That's a good one.
Calm down, don't laugh.
He's got to check himself the whole episode.
Yeah.
No, I'm excited to have this conversation. I know you were just saying
Yeah.
he's the first person. I'm more on your side of
Yes.
it than on my side with the creative.
Typically, we do a lot of these podcasts, and more so like I know that Corey for the first 5 or 10 episodes was on a mission to find out. Maybe we could start there because I'd like to get your opinion on that as somebody that's more seasoned. Work-life balance, right? And that was something that we've talked a lot about on all the other episodes, and I think it would be a good precursor for this one. How do you see it and how do you do your balance? Like, is it something where it's for me, I work 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. and that's the time I'm here. If it's after those hours, unless I need to be here, I'm not here. I do the business from the house. I try, and with me, I separate it with time. There's time in the office versus time at the house, but his version is different. His version is different. What is your version of mixing the two?
My version is, balance is difficult to have if you're trying to be great.
Yeah.
There always has to be some sort of sacrifice, but I'm with you. I try to have Sunday be the day. Because I'm an active husband, I'm an active father.
Yeah.
And it become, you can get anxiety.
Yeah.
Right? When you're trying to balance everything out, because especially as far as personal management, then there's a business side. This is what I tell creatives too. It's like, yeah, you worry about you. I worry about 15 of y'all.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I still got time to do everything.
Yeah.
But the balance, it's not easy.
Yeah.
It's super challenging. But the short version of the answer is I try to do the time aspect of it. Only time you really, do a Sunday aspect of it is that it has to be worth it.
There's no other way. It's the only day.
You know what I mean? But because especially on the weekends, I'm a baseball dad.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I'm in tournament even this week. It's what I do.
Yeah.
But it's just literally just trying to show some sort of balance. But like I said, that's a whole other conversation. People always talk balance, and my mom even says, "Oh, you gotta have a balance." I'm like, "Yeah, but when you're trying to be great, you cannot.
Yeah.
There has to be a moment where you have to sacrifice."
I think the balance in that case, the balance becomes just because it's a good point because you have to. There are times where, as a business owner and as somebody that's self-employed, where you have to make a difficult choice. And what I always say, what I tell people is every day I have to let somebody down. I just have to choose who's going to get let down. And that's the biggest problem that I have is waking up all right, well, everybody wants to do all these things. I know that we don't have time to do all these things. So who's going to get disappointed today? Is it going to be the artist? Is it going to be someone from the team? Is it going to be myself? Is it going to be my family? Every day someone has to get disappointed for somebody else to be happy. And it's that's the hardest part is just sometimes as the business owner, you have to realize this is a Sunday. I might have to miss a game, but missing the game on the grand scheme of things is not as bad as missing potentially something that can change the family's life for the next 2 years.
Right.
And some people I feel are very nearsighted with that, and they don't always think about it there. Because some people take Sundays off and they truly embody that shit to the point don't even call me on a Sunday. Where it's I like to take a Sunday and relax, but if you need me and it makes sense, I'm there.
Yeah.
Twice and every day and twice on Sundays if you need me. You know what I mean? Anything you want to weigh in on that? Because this is where you do a lot of the talking on this part. How do you feel about after hearing that? Where do you fit into it?
I definitely agree where it's that's kind of what I've accepted where to do it, it takes at least for X amount of years, it takes that sacrifice of building this thing up. So then ideally there's a a point where you can pivot it to then take a seat back and be able to balance it out more evenly. But yeah, I think my view on it is definitely like balance isn't necessarily like everything has to be even, where the balance might be the family only gets, like you said, Sunday, and the business gets these 6 days, but then it works out, and as long as it makes sense. And like you said, because it definitely, I feel you on, it can cause anxiety trying to balance all these things. And like you said, I can a family and that kind of stuff is definitely like a whole own,
because
like,
that's
part-time job.
none of us have a family. Like, and I feel like that's like something that at the same time it gives you an opportunity to do something great in the terms of raise a family is something that, you know, is a privilege to be able to do something like that and to do it well. But at the same time, it's like it can get in the way of certain things, but it's still such a rewarding aspect, you know what I mean? And being able to build a business and build a family is, if you found is that where you find the most struggle, is trying to balance the two, or is it in dealing with the misunderstanding between a client and where do you see yourself having the most headache? Is it with that?
No, I think it used to be that. It used to be like the family, because again, think about it. You grow up and clearly there's a generational gap here, but there's always you got to go get bread. You have to, you know, it's, you know what I'm saying? It's like, you know, you don't sleep, you sleep when you die. And, you know, it's all about that. And then as you get older and or as you get seasoned, I got to start using that. I love that. As you get more seasoned, like I said, this is not a filter. This is actually real. As you get, more seasoned, you start to understand. There is that sacrifice, but you're making these deposits, right? Say you're sitting there, let's just say it's a Sunday, okay? But if that Sunday comes, it's like, listen, you guys got to understand. You know what I mean? Like, I've made the past 10 Sundays, and there's one, and maybe it's not a whole day, right? Or whatever. Because there's been situations where it's like, you know, like I said, I'm very active, right? And I'm the sports guy, sports dad, and I like to be there. I want my kid to see me there, right? But if I have to miss one, he knows what time it is. Right? Like you know
the
that
reason you're missing it is it's up here.
And I've been there. So if I don't get an A+, I get an A. I'm okay
happy with
that.
an A.
I tell my wife that used to be when I used to wash the dishes. You know, what about this? I'm like, it's an A, okay? I forgot about that one. We all good. You know what I mean?
I left the saucer in there. It's gonna be all right.
Exactly. But you know, I think it's funny, like as far as with family you're talking about. Like me, when I work with people, and because I am usually older in the scenario, there's 3 things that I look for in business, and we didn't even have this conversation. One is if you do have kids, right? Because it shows that you live for something beside yourself. Number 2 is, are you married or in a long-term commitment? Because it shows commitment. And the third thing is team sports, because you know how to function. Now, people can have all 3 of them. They can have none of them. It's just kind of like, I can kind of gauge off of those 3. And that's if you're a good parent, right? You can have a kid and could care less.
You know what I
mean?
Be a bad dad.
Yeah, exactly. But that's kind of like the things that I look at. But I think that's a struggle, and the fact that it's all, you know, all males here, right? When you guys, if you want to become fathers, that becomes the difficult part, because guys don't have guys to speak to about this. You know what I'm saying? Because that's a whole other conversation. But I'll write another book about that.
Facts.
No, I mean, that definitely makes sense. It's like, as guys, it's just kind of go make the bread, go figure it out, go,
Yeah. I always say I don't chase the bag, I pick up my luggage.
That's a good one.
That's for me.
He's dropping gems. He's been dropping gems.
That's an Instagram capture. You're gonna see on his next photo.
Nah, that's my thing. That's my thing. Like and as a creative, I'm a creative at heart. Well, I'm a creative because I started as a dancer. And I would say art is never wrong. We were having that conversation. Art is never wrong.
No.
Ever. I don't care how much business is involved. It's never wrong. But if you're trying to do a business, things that you got to do.
That's another topic
that where I, prior to really partnering up with him, work with him, I was very much on I just want to do art. Business, I don't want to do business. I just want to make art. And then it's just accepted, like, cool, art's cool and it's great. But like you said, if you want to have a business and supply for a family, art
I would say there's talented people playing the subway right now.
No, 100%.
On the way to the Yankee Stadium. There's people playing the violin in the subway for dollar bills that are extremely talented but haven't been able to figure out how to turn it into a business. And I think that's even a good segue to get into the meat and potatoes that we wanted to talk about, is that it's just, I mean, like, not enough people understand that so many people are hyper-focused with the art, and it's the art and this and that, but if, like, to your point, if you're not making people any money, well, who the fuck cares? Like, you could love your art, and you could be the biggest supporter of your art, But if you're going to expect other people to treat it like a business and treat it like you want it to be treated, it has to generate money somehow, some way.
You read chapter 7.
Have I? It's almost like I skimmed it.
No. But that's something that I try to preach all the time, especially being in the creator economy. We were having this conversation earlier. It's like it's the creator economy, right? Yep. And you got to focus on economy. And when you're an artist, you got to understand that from art, an economy was created, right? Yeah. That's why money is being able to be made. That's why they care, right? You'll have the starving artist that could care less, and people think doing a business is selling out. And it's not. No. It's not. You're handling your business. Now, selling out is your one way, right? You do whatever your genre is, right? And then you see somebody over there, and they got millions of followers making millions of dollars, and you switch up because you're chasing the bread. Yeah. You can do whatever it is that you want. Like I always tell people, like, you can cultivate a business within what you do. You don't have to sell out, and having a business makes you a business person. Like you said, there's people... Listen, you're doing what you got to do in the subway. Knock yourself out. That's cool.
Yep.
But you can. It's a business now, and it's the same thing that happened with hip hop. It's the same thing that's happening, and I'm old enough to see hip hop.
Yep.
I saw what happened. Mm-hmm. So once businesses got involved, they started to take advantage. Right now, you got the next wave influencer. Right. Same thing was happening. I was just like, nah, it's not happening. I saw what happened. Nobody knows. You got to think about that. You know, there's a generation that's growing up. I grew up. I knew what the internet. There was nothing. There was no social media.
Yeah.
Right. I'm in that middle ground where I can see both sides. You got my son is 14. He has no clue what life is like without social media.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
What would you say? So, you know, let's use an example like you know, probably who in my opinion is one of the biggest influencers right now. We were talking about him earlier, Kai Cenat. Mm-hmm. Who was the Kai Cenat of 1985?
Of 1985,
or like, you know, that time period.
Oh, it has to be Run DMC.
So it was a hip hop act.
100%. Because there was
nothing else.
Yeah, you know, there was nothing. You were drawing stuff.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? No, but seriously, because when they came, and that's kind of like what mixed everything.
Because they did the Adidas collab.
That was the biggest thing. That's when corporate America
was that the first music artist that did a shoe or clothing collaboration.
I believe so. I believe so, because it was just amazing that they held up their sneaker at a it was just it was the shell toe Adidas. I knew about it from them.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Like,
you ever seen I think it's called Flight, the movie with the Jordans.
Yeah.
They should make a movie about that, similar to that,
no,
because I would love to. Like, just being able to see that journey and, like, really, like, having the movie highlight, Michael Jordan's awesome, but, like, let's talk about the guy that took the risk on Michael Jordan, that would have lost his fucking job if that shit didn't work, and probably didn't get compensated anywhere near enough for what he created. It's like, who did that? Who was the person at Adidas that said, you know what, we're gonna bet the house on these, where are they from, Run DMC? Harlem?
Hollis, Queens.
Let's put these kids from Queens on the front page of Adidas. Yeah. Like, who at the Adidas office in Germany co-signed that and look at what it created?
Yeah, no, 100%. So that's the answer. I would say that.
Yeah.
I would say that. I don't know if you're gonna get anybody in my age group.
Yeah, I would. That's a good take. I would assume, because if you think about it, and the more that we're sitting here talking about it, like when you first had said that, like, you know, the influencer is in the creator market is the new hip hop market. It kind of, like, I didn't disagree with it, but at first it took me a second to see it. Now that we're sitting here talking more about it, it really is. You know what I mean? Like, at the end of the day, because all the hip hop artists did is brought culture to the cornerstone of everything else, and it blended movies and culture, fashion and culture, cannabis and culture. You know, because there's a difference between weed and cannabis. Cannabis and culture, like, it brought all these things together, and I definitely think that because hip hop is not dying in the sense that the amount of people that are listening to it has changed, because the amount of listeners only goes up every year. But the impact that the hip hop artist once had on the economy, I feel like the creators and people like Kai Cenat have more influence. Kai Cenat, in my opinion, has more influence than Drake in certain aspects. And musically, obviously not. But as far as like Kai Cenat was a better pick for that McDonald's commercial than Drake would have been. You know what I mean? Because he's now, and you want to know the other thing is that who is Kai Cenat servicing? The kids. He's now that's who all the kids are obsessed with. 13, 14, 15, they all know him, they all love him, they all want to be him. And I think that used to be what the hip hop artist would be. And it's interesting because now we're just at the beginning of this. The influencer is only a couple of years old. Think about what was the biggest change to the hip hop industry is when it went from records being bought and sold on the store to records being bought and sold online. It's interesting that we're starting with online, and I wonder where it's going to go.
Yeah, I know. It's wild. It's wild. Like as far as like I said, from the things that I've seen.
And being involved in both, being involved back then and being involved now has got to be it. What would you say besides things that we've already addressed? What would you say the biggest difference between the culture economy, right? So just put it above the creator economy, the cultural economy in that time period and now. Like obviously social media was the biggest divider, but like was it the I don't know. Do you get what I'm saying?
Like as far as what was
the biggest difference between what made somebody a star back then and what makes somebody a star now? Is it still the same principles?
I don't know. I mean, well, I think the principles are the same. This is why I say like the music is flooded, influencer game is flooded.
Yeah.
Cream is
Which
always
is
going to
more
rise
flooded?
to the. Damn it, that's a good question.
I say influencer.
I don't know, but I just heard yesterday as far as there's like 15 million songs getting uploaded.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. It's like
Which
something
is
to the
nuts.
tune of like 80 grand a day,
Which is
like
nuts.
80,000 songs
Which is
a day.
nuts. And you couldn't do that.
No.
You couldn't do that back in the day.
Yeah.
Like you literally had to go to the studio and all this,
Yeah.
and I'm not gonna.
You
I don't
couldn't
want,
even get a record on the shelf without a distribution deal back in the day.
But that was the thing. And even back then, I was talking that talk where people would sit there when distribution was
Yeah.
going on. I was like, yeah, but where's your marketing? I don't care. You're in every store, but nobody knows you.
Yeah.
So stop. That's a different conversation. But what I'm saying is that, it's so easy now. And that's to me.
Yeah.
Right? And I respect, like, I'll go back to my 14-year-old son. I tell him I was 14 once.
Yep.
I'm not 14 today.
Yep.
It's different. There's certain things that is, I'm telling you I was 14 because I have history, right? There's experiences that I can help
Real
you
life
with.
ones.
Right, exactly. But I don't try to play you to think that I was 14. I'm not 14. I don't know what it's
14
like.
running around with these.
I don't exactly. I don't know what that is.
I wasn't even 14 running around with
But
these.
that's what I'm saying.
I was
But-
like the last generation to not like to really be outside.
Yeah,
for real, you know what I mean? Like,
But I'm in tune. That's the thing.
Yeah.
It's funny. I said something to I was dropping him off at school, and I was like, I said, yo, bro, you gotta be like, yo, you're Himothy, right? Like you are him. Yo, he looked at me. He was like, where did you hear that? I said, hear what? I was like, yo, bro, you know your dad is out here, right? Like, do you like? I'm in. Like, this is what I do.
right.
Like I'm into, like I'm on this, right? Like, and I'm dealing with this.
This
and
is
it's
my
not-
job.
right? And I'm not trying to be that,
Yeah.
right? Because I'm not gonna be speaking to another 45, 48-year-old guy.
Right.
Yo, you him.
To adapt now.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I'm not trying to be that. I'm just me. I just know what it is, right?
Yeah.
And I'm talking to you, so I know what it is. So the reason why I said that was that reaction.
Yep.
Just understand that I'm, and I try to be very in tune with my kids. You know what I mean? He's the last, let's just say, because he's 14. He's the youngest.
Youngest,
You know what I
okay.
mean?
How old is your oldest?
21, 22.
Oh, nice.
So it's like they're, you know what I mean?
Moved out the house already?
They're good. They're men, right? I
Yeah.
did my job. I gave them roots, like my mom
Yeah.
says. You give roots, and then you got to give wings.
Yeah.
Right? My 14-year-old still got roots.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm still developing those roots, but.
What was the biggest thing that you learned between 21 and 22, and that did you feel like you learned anything that changed the way that you're, and we can cut this out if you don't want to put it in there, but anything that you're parenting the way with him than when they were 14, keeping in mind that when they were 14, social media was here, but it wasn't as prevalent as it is now. Has anything changed?
It's definitely different. It's definitely different. I'm definitely different from like as a sports parent, right? Because that business has changed. Like
Yeah.
I said, I can get really deep into so many different levels of things. But what I say is that now when you raise whenever you guys have kids,
Yeah.
right? If you plan to have kids, when I grew up, it was let's just keep it at mother, father. I'm not saying
Yeah.
whether single parent, whatever. If you had a single parent, it was one.
Yeah.
But let's just say you have your information getting from two individuals.
Yeah.
Right. Now, my son goes to school.
Yeah.
Right. He doesn't just get from me and my wife.
Everybody.
Because now I don't know if your son is in kindergarten,
Yeah.
right? You have a 5-year-old, I have a 5-year-old. I teach my son a certain way, but that 5-year-old is being raised by the phone,
Yeah.
and he's exposed to 18-year-old information.
Yeah.
Meaning, he's getting all this stuff, and now he's downloading it to my 5-year-old, my
Yeah.
5-year-old. Now I got to combat all of I can't
and fix the pieces.
I have to
Yeah.
because now it's being a parent now is more intense and a bigger job
Because
than
there's
before.
more misinformation that you have to.
There's more misinformation
Yeah.
and there's more information. So it's
Yeah.
like it used to be, hey, you just because I said so, and I never was that kind of dad. But that was the generation.
Yeah.
Because I said so.
Because
You never
there wasn't.
questioned it.
Because you couldn't.
Right, I couldn't.
Now-
hold on a
now-
second. I'm gonna Google that.
Yeah.
Nah. Skittles will not cause cancer, and I could eat Skittles. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But
That's a good point. That might. I mean, that's why. Like, I definitely think one day I'd like to be a parent.
I got you,
We
bro.
got the dog. You know what I mean. Right now that we got the French bulldog that we treat like a child. Getting
Yeah.
used to bringing something else everywhere,
Ah.
seeing if we enjoy it. You know what I mean. And it definitely. We were, originally, if Chelsea and I would talk about this 3 years ago, we'd be like, oh yeah, when we're 30, and then now that we have the dog, I'm like, 35. You know what I mean? And it's just like. Because I also understand, like, I'm also very big on if I'm going to do something, I have to do it right. So I'm not going to bring a child into this world to be a half-assed dad. You know what I mean?
it's a little
Like, if I'm going
different
to
than a
do
dog.
it, it's got to be
little
exactly. You know what I mean? Like, I have to be able to give it my all, and I
Yeah.
know I'm not right now.
Yeah,
Like, I'm not
yeah.
willing to, nor am I interested in doing that right now.
yeah,
you know?
and you shouldn't do it.
Because of all the things you're talking about, like you got to spend so much. Like, you really, like, nowadays you send your kid off to middle school, you really got to come back and like, yo, what did you hear today? Because you really got to like keep an eye on, like, yo, that somebody could have told this person that the fucking moon rays cause cancer, and they're gonna fucking believe it. You know what I
bro,
mean?
I'm
And it's
telling
like
you.
you got to really like, and now you got to bring I would imagine, like, because of the internet, you got to be like, nah, go read this article instead. You know what I mean? Like, you kind of got to like point them in the direction of self-education, because they're going to self-educate regardless of whether you want them to or not. So at least if you put them in the right direction, you can kind of, in a way, mold what you'd like out of them, and hopes that they don't end up a delinquent. You know what I mean?
And the music too. Music
Yeah.
is different. I grew up with
Conscious rap.
conscious, but then it was gangster. Like,
Yeah.
I'm listening to the, this is
Gangster
in a
rap.
bad mood, B.
Gangster
Like,
rap, though, I feel like gangster rap in that era was more like it wasn't about, I don't know, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but the songs that I heard, and maybe I just heard the hits that weren't about this, but the songs that I heard were not about killing people and killing ops. Like, that's not what you heard.
Nah,
It's
like it's crazy because now it's very different, right? You have that,
Yeah.
and then you have the soft
Yeah.
music. Like, you know what I mean? Like, let's say Drake made it soft. Like,
Yeah.
can I curse?
Yeah.
Okay, I fuck with Drake. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? But there was a lot of sensitive music.
Yeah.
And I think it was making dudes sensitive.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And again, there's nothing wrong with whatever, but it was just like, think about, you are the company you keep.
Yeah.
You are your environment. Like, that's why, like, your DNA has things to do with it, but if you put somebody with somebody's DNA and you put them in a spot where they're surrounded by is whatever that is,
Yep.
you're inundated with that. You know what I mean? They always say if you're around 4 broke dudes, you're gonna be the fifth.
Absolutely.
If you're
You
around
are
4
the
millionaires, you're gonna
company
be
you have. The
1,000%. And I also say now with this creative stuff, you're not only the company you keep, but you are the things you follow.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because that's what you see too.
Yep.
You sit there and it's like, damn, that's why this whole, even, making a left here, talking about like entrepreneurs and all this stuff. Like, everybody think it's so easy. And it's just like, because it's just put on there and people be like, hey,
It's
you can
easy
just
to
do
make
this.
a video. It's easy to
Oh,
go be
100%.
it, but it ain't easy to be successful.
Nah,
I think it's
that's
actually
It's not even easy to be consistent.
no. I think it's
Nah.
more difficult to like, as far as like specifically man hours equals reward equals money. I feel like it's actually much more difficult and requires 2 to 3 times the man hours to earn $100,000 as a creator than it is to earn $100,000 through your typical channels. Accountant, lawyer, doctor.
Yeah.
Like, at least if you go to school and you do your internship and you do everything right and you get the proper degree, because there's degrees that you can get that you would not get a job after, but you get the right degree, you're going to get a job.
Yeah.
You could spend 5 years making the videos every day and it don't go nowhere.
Yeah.
Because you're missing that one piece and you need somebody like that or somebody like that to give you the piece art. Why is it not working? What is happening to me? Why am I posting video after video after video and they're getting 50 views? What am I doing wrong? And I feel like it takes the analytical mind that's not in everybody. Not everybody has an analytical mind to be able to look at things like, all right, well, if I do X and get Y, but I do Y and get Z, then if I do X like this, I might get A. You know what I mean? And people don't think like that. They just think, oh, the video flopped. I got to post another one. Well, let's go look at your videos for the past month and see which ones perform well, which ones didn't, and let the data tell us. Because there's so much data on social media that you'd be stupid not to listen to it.
Yeah, and that's why, like I tell people, when you're gonna get into any, whether it's music, let's call it creative space, like, yo, you got to do something you love, like for real, like that. They say, hey, get a job. Yeah, this is an actual job.
Yeah.
You know, like back in the day, kind of music side. Hey, you did an album, and then you pushed it, and you did shows, right?
Yeah.
Think about now, did an album, you do show, but now you got to have content every
You got your
single
radio
day.
runs, your content
All of
runs,
that.
your interviews,
You gotta
your,
do all
your
that. You gotta be on-
collabs,
you gotta
your
be on
open
mic.
mics.
You gotta-
Downs come with this shit.
You gotta love it.
Yeah, that's the biggest. Like I tell people all the time that like the secret to doing anything is loving the thing, because you have to do this indefinitely every day for the rest of your life, basically, and you gotta love it because you gotta clock in every day. And even when you do love it, there's days you clock in and wake up and like, I just want to sleep.
Shit, I was yesterday. I was pissed because it was Columbus Day. I went on a whole rant. As a father, you give me your perspective on this. But those stupid holidays are for people with kids, and that's it. If you're somebody that's my age with no family and you're taking Columbus Day off, you are part of the problem. You are the reason why you're not successful. If you look at a fucking school holiday and say, I'm not gonna do anything today.
Well, I'm with you on that, because I tell people, like when there's days like that, I'm like, yo, this gives the entrepreneur, people that got a 9 to 5, you got an extra day because people gonna be taking it off. Knock yourself out. Like,
But
I
yeah,
always
let me
say,
just stay in the bed late that day.
when
Like,
you're building and going back to this balance and everything like that, like I always say, you know, the weekends are built for people that want to work. It gives you 2 extra days to get ahead of the average person.
forget about Sunday. Sunday is really like 2 days built into itself.
Yeah. Nah, I'm with
Yeah,
you.
I don't know. These people just like, because so many people they just, I think like also social media. 2 things that I think social media did that forever changed the way people think is, number one, it gave everybody a voice, which I don't think is a good thing. I don't think everybody should have a voice, because some people use it for no good, and it gives everybody an opinion for that voice. And it's like, the amount of times and you're probably the same way, that you scroll on social media and see these people and you just look at it like, oh, you only did that because you are trying to get people to pay you. And it's like everything that you see is just like, you got to believe none of what you see, or none of what you hear and half of what you see, is what people say. But on social media, you believe none of what you see and none of what you hear, because it was like, I could go on. There is nothing that stops me from going on and doing this and being like, I have $100 million in my account. There's nothing that stops me from doing that besides my own moral code.
Yeah.
And I'd do that and people would believe it. There's some people that would look at it like, man, this guy don't got $100 million. There's some people that would be like, oh, wow, I didn't know Logan was up like that.
Yeah.
It's like, bro, like,
with Logan, he up like that.
like, yo, it's just it's just built off of lies and inauthenticity and
It's so crazy, because when I was trying to set up a meeting with a particular artist, we're not gonna say the particular name, but I say, yo, then my regular spiel, come Logan, lock in with Logan. They was like, he loaded, bro? What the fuck does that matter, bro?
and let's expand on that, because this will be interesting to get your thought on.
This
right?
would be great.
So we brought Shay as I don't like to use the word intern, because he's more of a dot connector for us, and we brought Shay on purely for the purpose of, all right, if the only way that we're gonna make change is through education, right? So Shay, your job is to just invite people here. No money, no payment, no rules. Just invite artists. Say, hey, artist, come see what we got to go on over here. The amount of times that they question him because of how damaged this economy is and how damaged the creator economy is from the scammers. Like, we're trying to come come window shop. Come ask us questions. Ask us to show you a video. Ask us to show you how we'd shoot your video. Ask us anything. Window shop, like you shop at Target or the mall. And people still question it. Well, what does he want me there for? Nothing. To fucking show you. You know what I mean? It's like, that's what I want you here for, is to show you what we have available. But people are so scared of getting scammed and so scared of the bad people in this industry that they won't even take a free meeting with me unless he front loads all this and what we want from them. It's like, bro, we're just trying to teach you something.
Yeah, but nobody knows that. That's why, like, I think a lot of time, and it's crazy. It's gonna almost be like a contradiction. Like, if you look at your page, your energy is very genuine.
Yeah, I try.
You know what I'm saying? But some people, they sit there and they think it's a front.
Yeah.
Like what we was talking about earlier. You too happy, bro.
Niggas hate
And
that.
yeah, and the thing is like, you know, is it a New York thing? Is it because I'm skeptical on certain things,
Yeah.
right? But the thing is that you gotta. The answers lie within yourself, right?
Yes.
And like what you're saying, you're a genuine person, and I've had this issue too, where I'm like, damn, bro, like you seriously that scarred? Like,
Yeah.
but they are because they've been fed bunch of lines and everything like that, like from the management side, right? That's why I was telling Logan earlier, like my contracts, whether it's non-exclusive or exclusive, they're 30 days, right? 30-day contracts. And a lot of times I don't even have people sign because I got to see. That's number one. Because how I equate it to is if you go to, let's just say, you're not married right now.
No, not
right?
yet.
No, I'm just saying you don't have a girl, whatever like that.
I just got her. Yeah,
so I'm just going to use this as an example.
Right.
You go to a club, right? Meet a girl, cool. You're vibing, boom, boom, boom. It's like, all right. Now imagine she says, yo, come live with me.
I'd be like,
You know what I'm saying?
The same night?
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? That's what I feel like is if I meet a client and I'm like, yo, sign with me. Even if we're vibing, how am I going to give you paperwork like if you don't know me? It's different once you build, going back to this, you build the name, people know who you are. Yo, now the leverage is over here. You can rock with me, you cannot. My name speaks for itself. You want to rock? Great. You don't. But so many people are so caught up in those, I've signed deals, I've done this, and this happened, and they said it was going to be this, and that never happened, and that's why it's such a facade of the people of you scrolling, oh, you got $100 million. I got to see where you can sit there and be like, you can look through and be like, yo, they fronting right there, right?
and here's why.
Exactly.
I mean, there's no. I think we've talked about it before. There's zero like checks and balances in this field. Where if you're a doctor or a mechanic, it's like there's a level of like.
There's a license. There's a board.
I can just create an Instagram right now and just start posting reels talking about I'm gonna manage you, I'm gonna blow you up, I'm gonna do this, and there is no checks and balances. So it's so easy to end up in that. And like you said, if you're not somebody where you can look at somebody's Instagram and go, they're
And Instagram is such a powerful tool. I can go on, like, we'll do it right here. I'll show you.
We need a background check app.
So look, I go type in your name, right?
verifications that don't be paid for.
I'm like, oh, shit, people in common.
Right.
If I go to your page and I can't do this, there's a problem.
Right.
There's a problem. Major problem if I can't click on your page and I don't see at least 5 people here. Somebody like Orlando that's in my space, I go to his page, 307. So how are you moving around in the music industry if I have nobody in common with you? Yeah. And I just don't know how people continue to get fooled and fooled and fooled and fooled. And that's why we're talking earlier. I blame the person that gets fooled just as much as the person doing the fooling because you could have asked better questions.
A lot of people don't have the information on who the real players are in the industry too.
because of this BS Instagram thing where somebody can go online. Okay. This is how sick this is. Somebody goes online and sees that like Gabe is hosting. And this is, I feel like it happens with him more than anybody else right now. Somebody goes to an event that Gabe is at. You know Gabe, obviously. Oh, hey, Gabe, let me get a picture with you. Oh, yeah, cool. Tap in on the radar. It's like, yo, you can't get anybody on there, but you got the picture with them. Yeah. And that's enough to fool people. But it's like when you really look into it, like, all right, the first one, does Gabe follow you? No? All right, so how are you going to get me on there if he doesn't even follow you? Well, you want me to give you all this money to get me onto a platform where you have a picture with the guy, but he didn't like it, he didn't comment on it, he doesn't follow you. And I know enough about how this works to know that all that was yo, get a quick pic, bro. Oh, bro, let's take this flick.
That's the problem. Even like with me, I don't take pics with people.
Neither do I.
But the thing is that I gotta learn because now with this whole, doing focus on me, right? Brand myself. It's like I come from the school of, yo, just do.
Yeah.
You don't gotta show nobody nothing. Just do. You're sitting there. You're building your business. Your bank account is fine. I don't gotta follow Logan. I could text him. I could call him.
Yeah.
I don't need because some people. There's situations where it's like the follow aspect of it. I'm like, they don't follow. I don't care. I could call them.
Yeah.
Maybe he forgot. I don't know. I don't care. I could do what I got to do. But because of most of the world, I used to say it was a bunch of C students, but it's really a bunch of D students, right? You know what I mean? It's like there's certain things that you have to do, and it's an adjustment for me too, because I'm like you, bro. I just go. Let me just do the work.
Yep.
I don't gotta show you. I don't gotta take the pic. Like, you know what I'm saying? Hey, yeah, that's my man. And it's always that. Yo, tap in with
in that pose. That pose.
Or this.
Saying,
or this. And it's like,
You
If
know,
I see that pose,
no,
I
we're doing that.
I already
We're
know.
doing that. We're doing that.
That should be the thumbnail. We should all sit there. We go like this.
Yeah.
But it's just like I just like people are just so. You want to know the other thing is that people are looking for somebody to save them too, which is the other
that's
problem.
what I think the big thing, because a lot of the people I know, like even like knowing you, probably like being with you day to day, it's like seeing your Instagram versus knowing what you do. The people who I've met who like actually have businesses and are operating day to day aren't the same ones who are going on Instagram necessarily trying to sell you something. They don't need to because they have a business. The same way you said, just put good work out there.
Yep.
Like with me, with the music videos, I don't go on Instagram like, yo, our music video is gonna blow you up and change your life.
gotta let the
I'm just
people
gonna
do that for
create
you.
good
Yeah.
videos
And that's
release
it.
The people
and
gonna
put the
do that
good
for
work
you.
out there.
Yeah,
Let
yeah.
the work speak for itself.
But you gotta speak like I'm telling you, that's the weird thing now. Like it's like I'm in a phase right now of trying to understand both of that, right? Like from the core I'm from, just do.
yeah.
But if I don't like what I'm doing now with this book, I'm handling it like it's a sneaker drop.
Yeah.
And now I'm going and like you knew I was dealing with Chicle. I'm just using him as an
Right.
example. But you see me with now in a video giving this book to somebody. Like, how do you, I'm with them now. Like,
Yep.
and now you see the dialogue and the interaction. You see what it is, and it's like, oh, okay. It's like what I tell clients all the time. Sometimes, and this again another conversation, but the internet is crazy. Like social media, you got to utilize those D students, and as long as you're not a D student,
Yep.
you bring them in and you sit there and you do like I've gotten dudes TV shows from free promo. But if you would have sat there and not done it because you're about money, there's too many people that are trying to, like what you said, oh, it's going to change your life. Anytime somebody tells you any of that,
It's run.
they full of shit anyway.
Run the other
You know what I'm
direction.
saying?
No one person's gonna change anybody's
At all.
life.
Anybody that's ever changed somebody's life would never repeat it to somebody else and use it to sell them something.
Yeah.
Because it's a gamble. It's not.
It's
automatic.
not guaranteed.
It's
Like
not
for
guaranteed.
example, like we were talking about this, and I always say this, like, and one of the first things I always say to people is, yeah, you probably can't tell what I do from the Instagram, but it's designed like that on purpose. You can't buy something from me unless I want to sell it to you.
Right.
You can't work with me unless I want to work with you. And even today, I had a client that called me, and if he sees this, he'll know it's him. But it's like he called me this morning, and he's a client that is in a. And I don't mean this in a negative way, but he has wasted my time, like I think 7 times. Like with oh, I want to drop something. Then either the videographer didn't give him his video, the mastering guy didn't give him his song. He got into a personal issue and had to take some time off. And it just this morning I just answered and I was like, oh, listen, bro, like you could waste my time as many times as you want, but this time I'm not even going to have a conversation with you until you bring me the deliverables. I need 3 videos on an unlisted link to approve for ads. I need the budget in my hand, and I need to know the day you can come to New York. Once you get me those 3 things, we'll get straight to work. If you don't get me those 3 things, I don't want one without the other. I don't want the videos without the money. I don't want the money without the videos, and I don't want the New York trip without either of them. It's got to come all 3 at the same time, because if not, it's going to be a waste of my time. It's going to be a waste of your time, and you're going to be left with a sour opinion of me afterwards.
Now, you consider that a serious artist because like
No, but I like him. He's a good guy.
Yeah.
But it's at the end of the day, I'm not. If I was in the business of making sure people were serious, I wouldn't have a business. I'm in the business of providing people with what they need, and they get the advice with it. That's why I told him that. I said, bro, you're going to waste your own time. And he said, all right, bet. I appreciate that. Thank you. Let me get that shit right. And he texted me one of the 3 videos, and I'm assuming the next ones will come over the next couple hours. And then, yeah, this is why we had to do it. Why? Because we tried this already. I did it your way 6 times.
Yeah.
We're doing it my way this time, where you can find somebody else.
Yeah.
And that's just how it goes. And you have to put the foot down somewhere, and it has to turn into a situation where it's like, all right, I'm not in charge in a negative way, but if you're coming to me, the word that they use is drive. I'm gonna drive if you're coming to me, or I'll put you in the front seat. You could drive, but you're not gonna drive if you've only ever been in the back seat.
Yeah.
That would be doing you, me, and everybody around you a disservice if I let you drive if you've never successfully driven a project before. And so many people that the focus is just on everything outside of build the fan base, build the consistency. To your point, the principles. Like so many people are mad. What are good business principles? Show up on time, treat people with respect. Those 2 things are missing. I don't think we've had a single person show up on time for a music video.
that shit is
Not a single
ridiculous,
person.
bro.
Minimum 10 minutes late. And I take 10 minutes late. We're talking
10
about
minutes, I'll
10
take
minutes
that,
I take. 10 minutes is on time. But there's not a single one that was, oh, your music video starts at 3. There's not a single one that was there at 2:50. Yo, I'm outside and ready. At 2:50, it's like, yo, almost there, bro.
I'm 20 minutes
and
late,
it's fine.
2:50.
That's cool. I don't care. You could, you're paying for it. You could be late. You could take it seriously. You could not take it seriously. But if you're gonna sit there and tell me that you need help, and if you just had the help and you can't even show up on time somewhere, you can't help. Exactly. You can't help you. How am I going to help you if you can't help you? What am I going to do that's going to change your situation? And I did a video about this. We did a mini episode where I basically was telling, so all these artists and these content creators, they want their lives to change. They want to be the Chiclets. They want to be, or Chicle. They want to be the Chicle. They want to be, fucking Ken. They want to be me. They want to be Lil Baby. But they don't go through the steps necessary. And if you who can really take somebody and put them in a position to earn money and change their lives, you can't do it if they can't do it for themselves. If that person is not a properly set up human being, what I call a contributing member of society. What's a contributing member of society? You have a vehicle, you have a job, you pay taxes, and you do something. If you don't pay taxes, you don't have a job, and you don't have a vehicle, there's nothing that anybody can do to help you. Because I could say to you tomorrow, yo, bro, Lil Baby wants you to go to a session to do a song with him, and you're going to have to look at me and ask me to buy your flight. How are you even going to take advantage of that opportunity if your life isn't set up properly? Yep. And that's where so many people are in the position where they're focused on getting lit. Your focus needs to be a stable life, a real life, a job, a family, a woman. See, I think that's actually not enough people talk about that, and I've honestly, you made me start thinking about it. The most unstable artists that I deal with are also the most unstable in their personal and love lives. 100%. They have a new woman every other day. They're getting into fights and posting it on Instagram, and that instability carries itself into the business. If you're unstable in your real life, how are you going to be stable in the business world?
Yeah, people don't really understand it. That's why I always say business is always personal.
Yes.
Because you're dealing with people.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So there's a lot of those characteristics of just people in general. You know what I mean? And it's just like that, like it's such a pet peeve of mine as far as the on time and all that. I can't. Like I'm allergic to it. Like
because you want to know why is because like we were talking about, the reason why they think they can be late is because they think the whole shoot is about them, when it's not. It's about the brand, it's about making the brand money, and it's about brand awareness. You're just the piece that they chose. That's it. Yeah. And people don't understand, like even just in our situation, like we're not sticklers on the rules, but technically when we have people that are late, we're either losing time with somebody else or we have to compensate our employees in some way to stay here for longer. And that's until you've done the other side of the equation, until you've managed a team, until you've spent your own money, until you've done all that, you'll never understand why being late is such a big deal. Because some people look at being late as just like a time is merely a suggestion. And it's like, if you don't understand the other half of it, like, no, you don't get it, boss. Like, we might have given you 50 grand to be in this video, and that might be a lot of money, but we spent $1 million getting it here, and it's $100,000 an hour. So if you're an hour late, you've cost us more money than you're potentially going to make us. Fuck you. Get the fuck out, and we'll go hire somebody else. And then they're like, oh, fuck this brand, man. Whole time it'd be their fault.
But that's the thing, and that's why having good, because I've had some clients that have wanted to go on a rant on something, and I'm like, yo, listen, I understand you, and I get it.
Here's what's going to happen.
But what it's going to look like, it's like an athlete, a football player that goes off on Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it today.
It's over.
Right? Like, you know what I'm saying? It's, people got to, I always say also, creatives don't all have vision.
Yeah.
Right? Because they can't see. I'm a visionary, 1,000% that I can see beyond right now.
Yep.
I can see this, that, third, and it's not because of, it's just, it's not like age. It's not an age thing. That there's some experience in there clearly, but when you're able to sit there and see some of these things that can happen, and then I'm trying to tell you what it is, and I'm not like a dictator, you know what I'm saying? But I'm trying to help you. Once you get to know me, you know that, you know what? You may not like what I'm telling you. You may not like what I'm saying, but I'm keeping it a buck with you. And like you said, trying to be lit, like I always say, everybody has a different definition for same words.
Yeah.
Your definition of work is different than mine.
Yep.
So lit to me is that my camera right there?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
So lit, being lit is being on time,
Yep.
having everything structured right. If you're trying to be a business, being lit on your block is all this other stuff,
that
the
other,
views and this and that. So when you come out your building, yo, that's the man right there. Nah, being lit is having everything in order, and being lit is being able to take care of your people. Being lit is to
Yep.
be able to have everything, financially good. Not to sound like a dad, your room clean. You know what I'm saying? Like your body
Facts.
clean. Like, yo, conduct yourself in the way that you want people, like how you want people to perceive you. Do that.
Yeah.
Be who you want to be. Like, stop looking for people to change your life when you literally, you have all the answers within yourself. You know what I'm saying? Sorry, I had to get preachy.
No, not at all.
I definitely think, and I think kind of going back to something you said earlier on about like having a family and that kind of stuff. It says like, yeah, having a family doesn't doesn't grow your business, but when you meet somebody who, you have a family, you can balance it both. It says a lot about them. Or like, I think Logan, a good example. We were just talking to one of our friends. He's a DJ, Jersey John.
Yeah. Oh, he called me earlier. Probably.
And we were talking to him because he's in college right now. He's still doing school.
Yeah,
right
he
now.
recently recreated him. Finish, and then I'll get into it.
And like Logan, they were having a conversation about how like Logan was like, the schooling you're not gonna get a job out of, but knowing that he's been pursuing school and able to balance it all says a lot about the character. Yeah, he might not get anything out of school, but being that he's the person who can balance both.
Yeah.
It says I would trust him more doing business with him versus somebody who couldn't balance it or did school and did it or did this, and same thing with relationships. Somebody who's you've been in a committed relationship the last 10 years.
Yeah.
That says a lot about their character. Versus, like you said,
Committed is the key word, though.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of people that be in relationships for 10 years.
Wow.
Yeah. And see, like, I'm the guy, like, I've been with my wife 22. I did the Puerto Rican way. We had kids first, then got married. You know what I'm saying? But the thing is that I've never cheated on my, like, it's
What's
never,
the point?
It's never been a thing. It's never been a thing for me. And then I be seeing dudes, a dude who, let's just speak to you, and he be talking about all his chicks. Then he talks to me, and he's talking about his wife. I'm like, yo, my man, I already know. Like, please, just be you.
Spare
if
me.
that's who you are, I don't judge anybody. Like, that's my thing. I don't try to define anybody. I think we need to understand people more. Like, I understand you for you for you. That's it. You don't gotta be me.
Yeah.
I understand you for you, and it is what it is. And I choose whether I rock
But
with it or
people
not.
scared about what other people think about them. That's what it is.
And that's what going back
That's
to
what
social media.
Everybody's got an opinion.
Damn,
Everybody's
shit.
got,
Oh my God!
There we
right
go.
here. This house is crazy over here.
You know, got the hot seat over there. But that's it. To build on the Jersey John thing, he's another one that he came to the realization he wanted to. He if you asked him 2 years ago or 3 years ago what he wanted to do, it would be a touring hip hop DJ. And then he over the years realized that there's no money in that. It's not. It's cool. You look cool. Might get the women. What's the point though? He's in a committed relationship now, and he switched over from hip hop hip hop party DJing to event coordination.
There you go.
Oh, you want a fucking photo booth for your quinceañera? Call me. You know what I mean? He's in that now. He's doing great.
Yeah.
And it's like, what would be the point of him trying to chase being a hip hop DJ when you can make a whole bunch of money and really build a business that can scale?
Yeah.
Scalability is another thing a lot of people don't understand. Like, you can everybody can have a business, but can that business even handle $1 million a year in income, or would it come crashing down at anything over 100,000?
You gotta be careful what you ask for, and if you're prepared for that. Like, I spoke about that even this creative space, right? And I'm not gonna go back to that, but it's literally like when I speak about it in the book, as far as sound like the crazy salesman, right?
No, yeah, it's okay.
Crazy salesman. Right? No, but seriously, because the thing is like this. It's like in the introduction. It's literally like, when you're getting all of these things, right? You're gonna have a lot of trolls.
Yep.
But you're also gonna have a lot of opportunities, right? So it's like there's good and bad with everything, and are you prepared for that? I remember walking, with Chicle, right? For the look, right? He'd meet somebody, we'd be somewhere, whatever, and they'd want him, can you follow me, right? Or can you shout me out, whatever. Oh, what do? I'm a DJ. He go to the page, you don't see none of that. You have no idea, like, so I'm gonna shout you out for what?
Yeah.
Like,
So you can show your friends.
because it's just for the moment.
Yeah.
And then and because he's a genuine individual, like he cares, right? Like, why am I gonna do that? Like, now if you have it paid, like, he's like, you're a DJ, but I just see all your family stuff. This is like a personal pay. Like, what are we doing here? You know what I'm saying? But people just want that moment to be lit for the second.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Nobody go past the moment anymore. They don't see, especially in my generation. I I don't have a lot of conversations with people who don't pass the moment.
How old are you?
Know what I'm 25.
25. Okay.
You get what I'm saying? So it's like we don't have. My generation doesn't have a lot of visionaries, like you guys say. Like we just have.
Yeah, I don't have
the
any
moment
friends.
Things.
I have none.
I love that
They're
you
out,
said you
they're
guys
gone.
made me feel super old.
No.
My man Shay said, like you guys.
No,
You guys, you grown folk
The
over there.
seasoned folks.
You seasoned folk.
The seasoned folks.
The extra
The
sazon.
obey, the extra obey folks, you know? Shit,
Nah,
I got
I
a
get it.
question. How do you feel about because I have a pretty strong opinion on this. Maybe you'll change my mind. How do you feel about influencers having the personal page and the influencer page? Complete waste of time, right? Or because you're splitting your engagement between two pages, or what do you think about that?
Yeah, I mean, again, that's if you look at it from a business standpoint or
Yeah.
from a personal standpoint. Like,
Business only.
If you have business only, then that makes no sense.
Yeah.
It makes absolutely no sense.
Personal, it makes sense, but I don't care
but
about
because
that.
even like now, like even like again, and I use my clients to help me out because I can I can see for you, but I need help seeing for me. But even and Chicle I respect dearly. Like even with the new company, right? He was like, Mike, just do your page, and you can find out about the company later. But it's you. You know what I mean? Like, be the guy. You be the guy, and then don't worry, because I have a business page, but I don't do anything with it.
Right.
I started to, and I was trying to do both, and I was like, he was like, yo, just focus, do what you got to do. And I understood that because, like what you're saying, why am I going to split the two? At the end of the day, you're going to do business, and as it grows, I can do that. That's
You
fine.
just got one more thing to maintain, one more thing to keeping in mind with social media. Your social media is your new resume. The look, the people's first 2-second scan has to make sense. So now you got to make sure it's got the right followers, it's got the right engagement, because you got your page do really well, and then there's this other smaller page. They're gonna be like, hey, you know what I
funny
mean? Like,
story though. Friend I went to school with, artist. He had a secondary page because he didn't want like his grandma or his aunt seeing like his artist page, like him talking.
Yeah.
Because they're a big Christian family, and he didn't. You know what I'm saying? He didn't want them seeing him curse, and you know what I'm saying. So that can be a reason why, but I guess.
No, you can. I mean, you can.
but at that point, if you're not willing to go all in to the point where you don't
right.
care what your family thinks, it's not gonna work.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
That
If
is
you
true.
still care about what grandma thinks, you got fucking bigger problems than getting started. I'm sorry. Love for all the family members, but like at the end of the day, I have a lot of respect for my parents, but I don't give a solitary fuck what a single one of them tells me to do, because they're not, to your point, they weren't. And I think that I'm going to tell them that next time we talk about this, because they were 14 before, but they weren't 14 when I was 14. And that's why it's like I can't, like, I'll take a piece of business advice from my father any day, twice on Sunday, because he's been self-employed his whole life. But like, oh, you should do this instead of that. Why? You know what I
How old
mean?
are your
Like,
parents?
55 and 59, I think.
Okay, so they're older than me.
So it's like,
All right, I feel better.
and he's an electrician, you know what I mean? And my dad's been a self-employed electrician. He's worked on a van his whole life, but like, why would I take an electrician's advice on anything besides life? Why would I take an electrician's advice on what to post on social media?
No, I hear you.
But I value his opinion, because that's somebody that's taught me a lot about business, how to deal with people, but he can't teach me anything about social
Yeah, but
media.
you gotta understand, my generation is, we come from our previous generation was, it's because I said so, and
Yep.
I'm older, and respect your elders, and all of that, and I get all of that, and you should respect people, right?
Yes.
Elders.
You
and
should
stuff like-
respect people, regardless of whether what age they are.
But the thing is that I don't think enough of us sit there and do, because I always used to think I was in the 1%. I'm in the 0.5%
Yeah.
because there's not a lot of people in my age group that actually listen to y'all and understand that part of that saying of I'm not 14 today.
They think that's disrespectful. I know. I told that to my father. He
Yo,
might
just
want
but,
to fight.
but teach me, right? Like
Yeah.
so, and I'll sit there and when I combat with, I don't want to say combat, when me and my 14-year-old talking, I'm like, there's certain things, yes, I got you. The values and morals, that's generational.
Transgenerational.
wrong,
Integrity,
and all that.
character.
Yeah.
Like I try to explain to him.
Timeliness.
Yeah, I try to
yeah.
explain to him. I'm like, listen, what I was raised on is lacking now, and it was normal to me.
Yeah.
It'll make you stand out like crazy now.
You want to know something? As somebody that interviews people, and I'm only 27, like we were saying. I interview 19 and 20-year-olds for the college thing with Orlando. But you know how many times he followed up with me to get this position? And I know who taught him that. He didn't learn that at school.
Yeah.
Because all the other kids that go to the school that just send their application and I never hear from them again.
Yeah.
But then there's ones that'll email, hey, following up on my application. fucking find me on LinkedIn, send me a message. Like, people really, those principles stand out far and few between, because now I can tell, oh yeah, you're just, man, your parents didn't give a fuck about you. You know what I mean? Your parents ain't
Mad
teach you
foul.
shit. You know what I mean? Like you're over here.
You got a job, but your parents didn't give a fuck about
Yeah,
you.
like they
You have a
raised you
mom,
and shit,
dad?
but they sent you into. But you want to know what it is too? Is that
This
also
was hatched.
that when they I feel like another difference too with the generational thing is that I feel like also people that have done nothing but work a job their whole lives can't really teach anybody anything, because they, like, if all you did was go to college and work for somebody else for your whole life, and you worked for somebody else's dream for a weekly paycheck, what can you really teach somebody else besides that? That's all you can teach somebody, is how to get a job and get.
Some
you can't
do
teach
break
that
out
person.
that mindset though. It's just a mindset thing.
Yeah.
Like, it's a
Everything is
generational
mindset.
Yeah.
Everything is mindset.
Like for my dad, for example, it's like I understand him, but it's like from what the generation that he came from, he would never like be able to kind of understand me because of his mindset.
So you see, that's the difference. See, you understand him, but you don't think he understands you.
Nah.
And I think understanding is so like something that people need to have, right? I talk about levels, right? And that's something like that, right? So if I do something for Corey, right? Like I'm appreciative. Corey did whatever, right? And I go level 10. You know what I'm saying? And I tell Corey, yo, you, your family, whoever, yo, you're going to Fiji. I'm all expenses paid. That's my 10. You'd be like, oh, that's crazy. Yeah. Now, I do something for Corey, and Corey says, yo, Mike, thank you so much. That's his 10.
Yeah.
Because Corey doesn't express himself.
Right.
Once I understand that he gave me his, I can't expect Corey to sit there and
crazy.
he's not going to take me to, take my
Yeah.
family to Fiji, because that's nowhere near, right? And that helped me even in my relationship with my wife, which helped me with everybody, because I may have a 10. I may have a 10 and it be a 1 on your scale.
Mm-hmm.
Once we start to understand each other's levels, then it becomes because we're always
What's a
taught,
10 for you?
right? Then we get taught,
Compromising now.
and don't you're settling. I'm not settling. I'm settling if this was me, but that is her 10. That is his 10, and on something else, I may be a 10, and it may be their 1. Yeah. But now, once you start to understand it,
it's probably someone else's 2,000.
Right?
That's a situation. Like,
but for
I be
real.
feeling like my 10 be like too far fetched for people sometimes.
But
that's
my 10.
but that's okay.
Understanding everyone's
Yeah.
like knowing that.
1,000%. It's understanding. Like I said, I feel like we're in a world of too much definite. I gotta tell you that you're this and you're that. How about understand people and just let people be who the fuck they
Facts,
are,
who they want to be.
And if you want to be around them, and if you don't. Stop trying to change them. Like if they're not hurting themselves, if you love them and be like, hey, because there's people that I love and I want to, and I'll say, but you're a grown individual.
Yeah.
I don't claim you on my taxes.
Yep.
Right? I care about you, so that's my job, is not to be a yes man, and I tell you how I feel.
Yeah.
But if you decide to continue, like, be with, and I'll use relationships, there's been my mans that have been with chicks that I don't like.
Yeah.
But I love my man more than I dislike her, so I'd tolerate her.
Yep.
Yeah.
Right? And people don't know how to do that. I don't like her. Nah, don't bring her around.
Talking shit.
Yeah.
But that's your man.
Yeah.
I thought that was your man. Oh, and people just get so consumed with that.
Yeah.
Let's just start to understand each other, and then we're gonna rock.
Yeah,
and we're
and
gonna be happy. We're gonna Chanel West Coaster, right?
Yeah. Yeah, kind of like going with that. Yeah, because I feel like a lot of people like set themselves up for like stress that they don't need to, because they're sitting here like if I didn't like something that you do, but I'm choosing to I could just choose not. We don't have to be around each other.
Yeah.
You don't have to make this choice to be around this person and then get angry because they're like this way. You could just choose to not.
Yeah.
What do you and this is kind of on the same.
Super left.
I know,
Yeah,
right?
this
We're
is
talking kind of on the
Book,
same,
consecration, music, and now we're talking about relationships. Sorry.
When you as somebody that seasoned individual that is probably introduced and removed more people from their social circle, the three of us combined. Something that I've been going through recently, like in my comment earlier, I have no friends. how do you as an individual, because obviously if you have, you know, wife and kids, you have to mingle with people that aren't on the same wavelength as you, that your 10 is their 0, whatever, like we're talking about earlier. How do you, because I'm finding where like my group of friends, it's the point where I have nothing to talk about with these people. Like they're in backwards relationships. They care about nothing. Like how have you been able to like to not just become somebody that just lives in complete solitude, but still being a strong-minded individual that has dreams, aspirations, and plans? How do you mingle with somebody that doesn't have those same aspirations? Because I've been having a real hard time with that recently, to the point where like I used to have a group of people, you know, a solid 3 or 4 people that I would see every time I went to Massachusetts. And the past 3 times I went up there, I haven't really called any of them because like I just know what it's going to be. It's just like, it's just not going to be anything that I'm interested in. But like, how do you change that? Because I don't want to, because I care about these people, but like, I just look at them as just living so backwards that it becomes hard for me to sit there with them, listening to them talk about this woman when I know they're not going to be with the woman in 2 months and then they're going to be with them again. And like, how do you deal with that?
Well, with that, you gotta. There's nothing you can't change. I always tell people you can't change people. You can only change how you react to them, right? So you're looking for them to do something for you that they're not capable
Right.
of, right? So you look at them. How I look at those type of friends.
Yeah.
It's like a photo album, like you know, memories.
Yeah.
I'm definitely not looking for you to give me an idea to do something, right? Like this is gonna be memory lane.
Yeah.
This is what we're gonna do.
Yeah.
Cool.
And that's what I found it was. It was just like, I was just sitting there like just looking back on simpler times. You know what I mean?
and that's what it is, and that'll be your
nostalgia.
removal. That'll be your removal of your day-to-day life, and that's it. And if you don't want to deal with it, don't deal with it. Go be in solitude, and it is what it is. Like at the end of the day, like you got to start making decisions for yourself. And if people like it, they like it. If they don't, they don't. And as long as you know you're a good person, people fuck with you. They're gonna know. And if you like, I had to make a decision recently, and my man had told me, he was like, yo, if people are not respecting you for making a decision for you, then fuck them.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, like, I'm living for me. And when I say me, it's positively selfish. People that know me. Like we were speaking earlier, I have deposited into karma. I have deposited into the universe. I am a private client where I get special treat. Like I already know I'm a good person. If you don't believe that, that's more on you. If you think that I did something wrong, that's more on you, because I know where my heart is at. So when I sit there and there's certain people, because I am such a person that wants to help. I'm a servant leader, right? That's what a manager is, right? We serve people, and managers is very difficult because you have to be selfish, but you have to not.
Yeah, it's a weird.
Business-wise, it's the client first. In business, any business, it's the client first.
Customers
And then,
Always
and you have to sit there and think about yourself. So it's like, there's that fine line, and that takes time, and you have to learn that. Like we were saying earlier, what I like to tell, like, y'all, I'm just y'all in the future.
Yeah.
So if I learn something at 47, I could teach you at 25 that helps you out.
Learn it earlier.
And I'm not sitting there looking at, yo, remember when I helped you with that? Yo, what's up?
Yeah.
Now, I'm human. I'm about humans. You know what I'm saying? It's all about helping, and that's why, like, I know I'm good. I'm good. I don't do anything for, yo, Logan, remember when I did that, bro?
Yeah.
What's up?
That's cracking.
Yeah, like, what's good? Like, I don't do that. So, you know, to answer that, it's like, I think you gotta really sit there and choose. You gotta protect. I tell everybody, protect your energy, whatever that may be. Me and you can have a conversation, and it because we're visionaries, right? We can sit there and be like, yo, we can do this, and it's like endorphins, bro.
Yeah.
You're right. And I remember I had somebody had told me, like, yo, Mike, how come when I'm talking with my peoples, everybody's hype, right? But then they're gonna do this, they're gonna do that. But then when they leave, nothing happens. I said, because they're feeding off of your energy. When they're in your circumference, it's like, yo,
Let's do this.
that's why the guy that you said that emailed you, LinkedIn, yo, they have drive. Motivation is all over the place. You can motivate all day. You can have a conversation. Motivation is temporary.
Yeah.
What's
Facts.
your drive like? What you doing when you not next to me? Because I know I'm infectious.
What time you getting up?
And
What time you going to
what
bed?
you doing?
You know,
What are we doing here? And be okay when you don't have to be perfect either. Like I'm a person, like I say, like I'm super positive, but I got shit that I be getting tight about. I be mad at people.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like people be thinking I'm like a happy-go-lucky, and I am, right?
To them.
Yeah, but the thing is that, and that's why, like, going back to, like, even like when I do morning videos, right? It's like I do throw in the it is not a good morning, right? Sometimes you gotta have a fucked up day, but it's not. It's how you deal with that. You're gonna have the ups and downs. How long you stay down is what separates us. We're all gonna have that. I can literally, and this is super transparent, like, because I'm an open book, right? A couple of months ago, I literally had a breakdown in my house. There was a lot of stuff going on, like, my son with school. Like, I was just making sure, because I want to make sure everybody's good.
Right.
I literally broke down, crying, all of this. But within the crying with my wife, I was telling her, within that, I'm crying and I'm like, but I know things could be worse. Like, I'm literally talking myself out of it. Like, I'm like, but this, thank God, my kids are healthy. Like, I'm,
What was the straw that broke the camel's back?
To be honest with you, I don't even know. It's just a lot coming because, like I said, because it's, like, it's business, right? It's clients. It's me dealing with myself. It was my whole dealing with becoming 50. Like, from 49 to 50, I was like, something got to shift, and that's why I was making a lot of changes. And then, like I said, my son was going through, like, he had a scholarship available, but then the old school wasn't it. And, like, I want everybody to be good. I go through, like I always say, my family is my 4 chambers of the heart, right? So I'm like, if one piece is off,
The whole
I
thing
could be
is-
off.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because I want everybody to be good.
Right.
And that's a gift and a curse,
Yeah,
right?
it is.
But yeah, it was everything. It was personal. It was myself. It was family. It was everything. And I was just like, And that's why, like, when I come back from it, I'm like, you don't, people like your age, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I respect, because his work ethic is very hard to find. You know what I'm saying? And having the conversation with you, I see where you at. You know what I mean? And it's like, I'm 50 and I run circles around dudes.
Facts.
Like, I can literally have that. And then later on that day, I'm on a call you got dudes that'll sit there and, and I get it because I've been there too. But it's like, what are we doing here? Like, I'm not the person to sit there and feed into your negativity.
I don't know.
I'm the version of you, like what we were talking about, like people, you too happy.
Yeah, they mad.
Sometimes people be mad because I'm too positive. Because I sit there and I break the real. I'm like,
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I hear you. But like when somebody tells me they cheated on when they mad and they're sad that their wife left them, I'm like, my man, you've been cheating on her for years. What we doing here?
Yeah, facts.
I get it. So and then
You
I
caused your misfortune.
Right,
What are you
so let's be
complaining about?
real, and I get it, and I feel your pain, and I empathize with you. But if your wife comes back to you, please remember how you feel today,
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
because I've seen it. And then a year later, same thing happens. My man, I'm real. I'm positive, but I'm real too.
Yeah.
I want to be. I'm the guy that on my block, dudes would, at 2 a.m, call, cry. They know I'm not coming to the block. I was crying last night. I'm not like that because I feel like, as far as, again, our DNA as men, you got to be a certain way, but you got to also have an outlet to be able to speak. Because I'll tell people, I'm super real. I cry, I'm sensitive, you know what I'm saying? I try to get a tattoo, I passed out, never finished. Like, I'm that guy.
Yeah.
Like, I keep it a buck. I'm me, right? I'm not your gun-toted, I'm not pistol. I've been in situations 100%. But the thing is that I don't be who I'm not. And I don't expect anybody else to be what I said. That's why I get turned off when people try to be, it's like, damn, bro, that's not you. You know what I'm saying? But if that's what you want to be, I'm going to be over there.
My generation got a lot of those.
Oh, they filled,
Like,
but
damn,
it's all good. Damn, we
just
got
getting
deep,
beat
bro. This was supposed to be can't talk. I'm creating. we
got into the depth
oh
of
my
it.
God, I'm sorry, bro.
Well, to bring it full circle, obviously the reason that we're here
Yeah, shout this out.
is for this generous piece of information here. If you like what you heard at all, it's probably a lot more of it in here. I'm not going to lie to you on genuinity. I haven't read it yet because I just got it 10 minutes ago. I'm going to read it, and not to say that I don't need the information.
No, you
but
might not.
I do, though, because I need to see what you're thinking.
Okay.
I need to get an idea of what you think and what you put out to the world as the ideas, because that's what's going to make me think, all right, well, we got an influencer expert. This is what he thinks is important.
Yeah.
I'm a music expert. This is what I think is important. Where's the similarities? Where's the differences? So I recommend everybody to grab one of these. How much are they?
It depends.
For somebody buying it online.
You got $9.99
On
on
Amazon.
on Kindle for Amazon. Yeah, they're $14.99.
Amazon for this John right here.
Yeah, $14.99. No, that's $14.99.
$14.99. You get yourself one
But
of
the
these.
hardcover's fine. That's $19.99. That's
Get
fine.
you the hardcover
The
for
hardcover.
$19.99. And here's what you do. You read it, you take notes on it, message me or him that you read the book because of this episode, and if you do that, me or him will give you some type of prize. I don't know what it's going to be. I'll think about it if it happens. But with that being said, is there anything in regards to this that you want to touch on before we finish off?
Just want to make sure that I did this with my client Ash Cash. This is basic. This is basics. If you want to become a content creator, that's what's there. And then he brings in the finance part of it, which is super lacking in any book like this.
Financial
It's
literacy.
always about the basics of post this, and that's in there, right? Because this is for if you want to be a creator. You had no idea we talking about where do you go? Here you go. Let's start here, and then it becomes a conversation because it is a business, and you got to understand that there's a career. Build on your moments to build a career. It's an economy out here. Y'all could do it. It's just y'all got to do it the right way.
Absolutely. And to finish off, biggest piece of advice to somebody trying to be a content creator right now, one sentence of advice, what would it be?
Do what you love. Make sure that that's everything that you love because it's work.
Authenticity is a common theme we've had here.
100%.
Like not making raps about things you're not doing.
No, 100%.
Spin the block, kill him 3 times.
All right. Well, Corey, anything else you want to ask this fine gentleman while
I think
we're
that
here?
was- I think
This
we-
season.
This seasoned individual right here.
No,
with
yeah,
the
I think we
extra
covered,
sesson.
covered a wide range of the bases. I think
Yeah,
pretty good. Good
I
conversation.
appreciate you. Yeah, y'all dope. Y'all dope.
Nah,
Shay,
appreciate
any
you for-
last questions or thoughts?
Would you say like this is a blueprint?
Yeah, it's a Bible.
Mm.
I had one of my
Gonna
guys
read
say it's
it.
a Bible, which means you keep it every day. You read it once, but you got to continue to read it.
Yep.
Yeah, you
'Cause
crack
it's-
it open.
yeah.
And you gotta act on it.
Yeah,
Because right. Let's if you read the book, it's not gonna do shit for you unless you act on the information in there.
No, if you read the book, you'll get
You
a
get-
million followers as soon as you finish.
Record
On
deal.
your
You'll
last,
be Drake.
on your
You'll be
last
Drake.
sentence, you're gonna get a million.
Immediately.
What?
Oh, man. But no, on a serious note, thank you so much, my friend, for
Nah.
coming out. This is a
Y'all
great
dope.
pleasure right here.
Nah.
the guy. But yeah, obviously check his stuff out. MyQ Success or Mike Success.
No, it's just Mike now. Yeah,
Okay,
change it.
just Mike.
Yeah, at just.myq.
Oh, yeah,
it's
you
Mike.
did.
I spell
That's
it
how long I've been
MYQ.
following you, though. So
That's
you know,
right.
That's how long I've known about it.
So you didn't lie.
And I waited until you had something that I felt we could work on. And when I seen this, I was like, that's it. That's it. We're going to get him in.
Nah, it's dope.
But yeah, no, thank you so much for coming. And that was episode 21 of the Can't Talk I'm Creating podcast. I'll do the outro today. Shout out Corey, Shay, Mike, and bringing it at you live every Monday.